my name is Daniela Steinmetz, and I am the owner of Dee's Magical Bakery, and that's down here in Oklahoma, Collinsville, Oklahoma. I had to remember where I moved to. And I am a home-based bakery, so don't mind the loud children in the background. Today I am making some basic sweet dough, which is from a recipe that came with my stand mixer, because my youngest son really wants me to make cinnamon swirl rounds, also known as Cinnabuns. And they're very loud in the background, and it's been like this all day. So I have 3/4 of a cup of low-fat milk, and I'm getting a 1/2 cup of sugar because I have an issue with sugar. I use Truvia. This is not in what I sell. This is what I make for myself and for my family because Truvia is really expensive. It really drives up the cost of my products. Okay, so we have a 1/2 cup of sugar. Now I need to get some salt and some margarine, or in my case, vegan butter. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so I use Country Crock plant butter. It is soy-based and has avocado oil. I am dairy allergic. I am actually allergic to the casein protein in dairy. It means I'm not lactose intolerant. It means I can never have any animal product milk. It is a genetic trait that I inherited from someone in my family who probably doesn't even know, because we didn't know for me for over 30 years. We need to get into how past 30 though. So it calls for 1/2 cup, which is, it's a 1-to-1 ratio translation of regular butter to the vegan butter here. So it's a 1/2 stick for those who are used to the stick measurements. And now I need to put this on low until it melts and add some salt. So here we go. Turn that on. And now I need 1/4 teaspoon. So I do 1/2, 1 full, and 1/4. There we go. All the salt. And it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so cheers. Actually, it's almost exactly 5 o'clock here. And while that is melting and mixing, I need to get some water up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. We need this to melt so the sugar dissolves and everything in there dissolves. Let's see, this is why everything that I use for baking is in one separate area, and the stuff I use for the home is all around here. We got this to do. Yeah, see, the salt is getting all hot, so what we need to do is just keep stirring until it dissolves. The salt and the sugar mixture, I should say. And the milk that I am using for this is almond milk, because again, dairy allergic. Almond milk I also use in the Country Crock butter I use in my everyday cooking in life, and also for the bakery. I'm a dairy-free baker. Just gonna get this to melt down. And then we can do the yeast in water that is 110 degrees. So for those who don't know, yeast, active dry yeast is very particular. If it's too cold, the yeast won't activate, but if it's too hot, the yeast will kind of die off. So it needs to be what's considered warm, which is about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, water or milk, in order to activate and dissolve and start bubbling. That means it's active. Now this calls for 2 packets of dry yeast, but I go through so much yeast, it's actually less expensive for me to use a jar. And on the back of my jar, it says what the equivalent of a package is in measurements of table and teaspoons. So, and for those who think I might talk a little funny, I'm originally from Boston, moved down to Oklahoma in September, down from New Jersey. So I lived in Boston for over 30 years, moved to New Jersey in 2018 when I was still pregnant with my youngest. And then we moved just this past September of 2023 down to Oklahoma, and now we're in Collinsville, and we bought a lovely house, and it's been fantastic, and I love the community. We have some amazing friends here. The Ray family is like family to me. I absolutely love them. I love those little girls. They are fantastic. Sam and Tyler are fantastic people. I absolutely love them. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook, probably know that Sam's actually my best friend. Yeah, it's been so great since we moved down here. The kids are doing great at school. Our health is better. It's a little colder than we anticipated this winter, but it's been great. Here we go. And we've been trying different foods down here, and my son was really, really excited. Here we go. Now the butter is melted, the sugar is dissolving. Fantastic. My son was really excited to try a cinnamon bun, and he asked if we could share with his older brother, and I was like, well, actually, no, we can't, because John has the same allergy that Mommy has. And he's like, well, we have to make some that John can have too. And I said, well, then okay, we'll have to find a recipe that I can change and alter to be dairy-free. So I was going through my recipes that I have, and I have the one that came with my stand mixer, KitchenAid. Thank you again, Michael and Janelle. That's my brother and sister-in-law still in New England. They live in New Hampshire these days. So, and I believe that's where they're going to be staying. So it's very far away, and that's sad, but I'm glad they're happy and their girls are happy, and that's what's most important. So I'm altering this recipe to be dairy-free. And again, this recipe is what came with my KitchenAid stand mixer that my brother and sister-in-law gave me to Christmas. Let's see, it's before John was born, so more than 7 years ago. But I still love that stand mixer, and honestly, if you look at it and saw the way it ran, you would think it's brand new today. It's been really holding up really well. So, okay. Next step is letting this cool while we warm up some water to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So, see you back in a little bit, okay? Okay, so I got my active dry yeast, and I have my measurements. So on the back here, it has the equivalent of a package is 2 1/4 teaspoons. So I have my teaspoon here. Go 1, 2. My son playing in the background, and I think this might be the 8th. It's not. It's okay. Great. This is one of the old ones. Fiddling fiddlesticks. Okay. 1, 2, maybe. Okay, leave it in my little cup here, it's actually a baking dish technically. I'll put that in the fridge, and we have our water. What I did is I took some filtered water, I filled up a bowl, and I put it in the microwave. And I have a thermometer in here, and right now it's telling me it's 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which is way too hot for yeast. So we can cool that off, and we only need 1/3 of a cup. So I go back in here and I find my 1/3 measuring cup right here, and a bowl. The dishwasher. Here we go. So I'm going to take 1/3, pour it into here. See what the temperature is now that it's done. Okay, so we're down to 120. So I can put this in here. Fridge. Let it cool down. Hey Google, please set a timer for 20 seconds.
All right, 20 seconds. Starting now.
Give my milk mixture over here a good whisk. Wait for that to cool down to lukewarm. So butter is starting to congeal, so we have to give it a good whisk. Make sure. Okay. 20 seconds can pass faster than you think. Stop. Thermometer. Quick peek. Let's see what we got. 110. Jeez, it's almost like I've done this before. What do you think? Sprinkle that in here. Sprinkle the yeast. yeast came from the fridge. That's where I keep my open container. And we check the temperature, make sure it didn't drop too down, because if it did, then we have to add a little more hot water. Ooh, 4-degree temperature drop. Next up, and we're at 108. So just a smidge more. 110. Okay, so what I did was I took my metal bowl, I ran it under the faucet on hot water and upside down. I can draw off the outside, and that is just enough to warm it up. Okay. It specifically says to put it in a warmed bowl. Now we take our activated yeast, give that a good swirl to get all the yeast in here. Okay. Grab a spoon, hopefully without knocking down the camera. Okay, so I've got the 5 cups measured out. Now I'm attaching my dough hook, and again, ignore my son in the background. I'm putting it to measure 2, and it's gonna go on for 2 minutes. Hey Google, please set timer for 2 minutes. And if the dough is still wet and sticky, then I'm gonna add another 1/2 cup at a time until it forms a nice ball, and it is all coming together nicely. And the max that is for this recipe is 6.5 cups max of flour. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you soon. I've taken my bowl out of the mixer stand. I've detached my dough hook. And now I'm going to take my dough hook out. Woo, stretchy dough. Okay. Go, clean the dough off of it. Another reason why you need to wash your hands, like, I don't know, 20 times throughout each process, because you're going to get your hands covered in dough and flour, egg, whatever else. Okay. That's enough. Go into the sink there for rinse. I'm going to take my dough and stick it from the bottom here. It's a little bit stuck. And lift it up. Into bowl here. Alright. The rest of the dough out of here. It's a little sticky, but that's okay. And we're going to attach to the rest of the dough ball here. Now we're going to take our dough ball and we're going to rotate it. Rotate it so the top is nice and greased. Okay, so I have my damp paper towel over here, and I have my hand towel over it. I don't have a warming oven or a bread setting on my oven, so what I did was I set it to bake and I set it to my normal temperature, wait for it to start heating, and then I turned it off. And that will make it warm but not hot. So now I can put my dough in here for 1 hour. Hey Google, please set a timer for 1 hour.
And the backyard. All right, 1 hour.
All right, we'll check back in an hour. Okay, thanks guys. Okay, hi guys. So we have about 10 minutes left on the timer until we need to check on our dough. But part of the recipe asks for evaporated milk, which because of the dairy allergy, I can't use regular evaporated milk. So as a substitute, you can take many milks like soy milk and different nut milks, and you can boil them down. So you put a little extra, and then you boil it down for all the water to come out, and that is basically evaporated milk. You can also do that with regular whole milk. If you don't have any evaporated milk, you can just kind of boil it down until the extra water comes out, and then eventually you'll have evaporated milk. And that's going on our caramel topping, the caramel topping. So like I said, we're just boiling down the milk until until all the water evaporates out of the milk, out of this case the almond milk. And I'm using unsweetened almond milk because I'm also trying to cut back on the sugar because my body cannot handle sugar very well. I'm not diabetic, my body doesn't digest it very well. Doesn't break it down. So as you can see, it's boiling pretty heavy. And there's still a lot of steam coming out. I mean, there's gonna be steam coming out even once it's all boiled down. There you go. See, now it's boiling really well. So it'll keep boiling down. I'll keep boiling it until it is down to about 1/3 of a cup, because that's what I need, 1/3 of a cup of evaporated milk for this particular recipe. And then I can add in the brown sugar that goes in here, and there's a couple of other things. I have to check the recipe that will go in here to make the caramel topping, and that should be ready to go soon. Let's take a quick peek at the dough. Okay, it's still going in there. All right, so I will see you back here in about 10 minutes. Okay, thanks guys. Hey there guys. Okay, so my timer for the bread just went off, but I'm working on the caramel right now. I've already boiled down my my almond milk to make evaporated milk, and I ended up with just exactly 1/3 cup. So that was close. I've melted in the brown sugar and the powdered sugar. Now I know I said I was trying to make this sugar free. And I should have probably whipped up my stevia in my food processor, see if I could make a powdered sugar alternative. But I did not. I just figured, cutting out, the other sugar would be, a stop. So it's low sugar, it's not sugar free. Now I have my 1/4 teaspoon here, and I need to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's for the caramel. And that is based on the recipe that is coming straight out of the KitchenAid, from KitchenAid. Now, what I'm going to do, because I am making cinnamon rolls, and this is going to be a caramel topping, is I'm taking some cinnamon, some ground cinnamon, and I'm just going to put some in here. And I'm just going to whisk it. Now I'm using a non-stick pan, so I'm using a silicone whisk. Okay, it's starting to smell cinnamony. I do want my caramel to be very cinnamony, because I love the scent and taste of cinnamon. All right. So I'm just going to keep whisking that. Just a little bit more. Now I'm Italian, so we do a lot of no measurement amounts when we make our own recipes. So a lot of the recipes that I have altered, as I have tried different things, and I'm like, well, I need this, or I want this, or I want this flavor, or I like how this tastes. Or even any recipe that I make of my own, I usually don't put amounts in, and then people are like, oh, hey, can I have that? And I'm like, oh, and then I have to go back and try and measure it out and figure out exactly how much it is. For those of us who had parents or grandparents who grew up in Italy, and my grandmother did grow up in Italy, my Nonna Libby, grew up in Italy, and she came over in her 20s. She didn't use, teaspoons, measuring cups, anything like that. And she also grew up on the metric system, not the imperial system. And then she had to learn the metric system, or excuse me, she had to learn the United States imperial system as well. So there's just a lot of mixing and matching with the recipes that I grew up with. The amount, pinch of this, a cup of that, or do it until it tastes right. So I don't have an amount of cinnamon in there. I am doing it until it smells right. Okay. It needs more. I can't smell the cinnamon. Whisking, and then after we put everything in the pan, so cook over medium heat until mixture begins to boil, stirring constantly. And you want to place the mixture into a mixing bowl, an attached bowl, the flat beater, but I need the flat beater for something else, and the bowl for something else. So I'm this one. So you do it until it's nice and creamy. And don't mind my husband in the background, he's making dinner. I did say it was a home-based bakery, so this is my home. This is my home kitchen. This is where I make my items for sale, my bakery items, my breads, my sweet treats, my brownies, you know, whatever else. This is also where we cook. So I'm just going to keep whisking this with a silicone whisk here in the pan until it becomes nice and creamy, which is really getting there. Wait. Gives you a really good workout here. Okay, yeah, now that's smells good. Smells like cinnamon. That is pretty creamy there. Shake off my whisk. Now I'm just going to find the cover for this and leave it covered in the back for now while we work with the next steps of the dough. Okay, so my caramel is in the back with its cover, so it won't evaporate any further. I have just gotten the bread out, so let's see if it has doubled in bulk. Yes, it has. It has risen and is doubled in bulk. Perfect. Great. All right, so the next step with the dough is to place several ingredients. We have brown sugar, which we're going to swap out for the Truvia, margarine, or in this case, the dairy-free butter, which I have my half cup over here since earlier, so it's nice and soft. Squishy, right? And I'm skipping the walnuts because I don't like walnuts in my breads or my rolls for that matter. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I just don't like walnuts. Call me nut, but I don't like nuts. Haha. And we'll take the cinnamon. So we're going to take those ingredients over and I'll move you over to my stand mixer over there. Okay, thanks. All right, we have scraped all the butter out. Out of the wrapper. Throw it away. Now we need a cup of flour. I'm also going to need a cup of sugar. This one first. Very well, this one. There we go. There's my sugar alternative. 1 cup. Now my brown sugar alternative. Cup. So I have the brown sugar, the sugar, or sugar alternative in my case, the butter, and then I need a tablespoon. And a half. Go. So our family's had dinner, and kids are watching a movie in the background. But our timer just went off for the bread, so I'm gonna take out these two pans here. Lift off. Oh yeah. Let's get you a good look. See, they have definitely doubled in size. Fantastic, right? Okay, that's one. Let's take this second one here. And, oh yeah, perfect. Look at that, huh? Looks like this one kind of doubled up so much, you kind of poked it a little bit. So we're just gonna put that back in there. There we go. All right, now I'm going to set the oven to preheat at 350 per the instructions of the recipe. And then we're gonna bake 20 to 25 minutes. There we go. Okay, so we pretty much finished cleaning up from making dinner and from making these delicious little looking things. So now we have a knife, now we're gonna go cut and try. So here we go. Okay. There you go. Ooh, hot. That's so hot.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going as fast as mine.
All right, guys. So it's actually came out pretty good. I have a few recipe modifications I would like to try out. Maybe add a little bit more cinnamon, I think. Maybe try out a couple more things. But otherwise, I am on the whole quite happy. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Have a nice night.